Anyways, hey, welcome back. Secret House Against Tokyo-based hip-hop art and culture conversations. Today we're back after a little hiatus. Basically, we talk about independent, underground, avant-garde, experimental, abstract hip-hop music from the underground. Like I said, underground. Shout out to everybody we rock with. They're in the bio and such. Today we're back to discuss the collaborative project between Henry Canyons and Fresh Kils. The album is called Educated Guesses. It is just a little short 8-song, 31-minute joint that dropped on Valentine's Day last month. I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit about the album that I picked up off of the Bandcamp. It says, Educated Guesses is a collaborative project between Brooklyn-based rapper Henry Canyons and Toronto-based producer Fresh Kils. It's set to drop. Yeah, Toronto. Shout out. I know you Canadians always gotta.
I didn't know he's from Toronto, so yeah, shout out.
But it dropped on UrbNet. It is the first full-length project since 2018's Cool Side of the Pillow. Henry Canyons returns with Educated Guesses, an ode to the process of tolerating, not knowing what comes next, from flickering romances. Hold on, I got this music in the background. I should have put on beats. But yeah, that's an old Fresh Kils collaborative project with Prim and a bunch of very talented musicians,
which we talked about on the channel,
Occam's Blazer. Yeah, shout out to July Scone and everybody on that project. That one's really dope. But if I could just go ahead and skip through, this album does have some guest vocals by our guys with Shrapnel, the incredible and great Mike Ladd, Solemn Brigham, and Ollie Chanin. Chanin? I'm not sure if I pronounced that correct, but yeah, it's out now. What we like to do before we get into the album to let you guys know how we know of these artists, and as we just said, we reviewed the Fresh Kils joint. Collaborative project Occam's Blazer. I think that was really my first introduction to Fresh Kils. But Fresh Kils is a prolific and an artist doing things for a long time. He's got a variety of collaborative efforts and projects where he's worked with some of the greatest, like Ali Shaheed Muhammad. I think he's got some work with Nas, and just really a super dope producer. You said this is your first time tapping into Fresh Kils?
Yeah, I wasn't there for your other review.
Right.
This
was my first time.
Early Secret House. Like maybe like the
first
fourth
year.
or fifth one we ever did.
First year
with
type of
Spade.
stuff.
Sheesh.
But yeah, that one was really fire. And when it comes to Henry Canyons, I had been familiar with Henry for a while, but last decade. And when shout out to BARUN, who is one of the great people in our Discord. He often sends us albums,
sending us music.
Yeah, and so he gifted us this. He bought it on the Bandcamp and then sent it to us. And of course, we want to show some love for that, and also because I like Henry Canyons, and also it's a good time to discuss Fresh Kils again. But Henry Canyons has been around for a long time, and I was like, yo, what? Like, when I saw the album come up, I was like, man, I thought I was, into him. I thought I was a fan, but I haven't really listened to him in like a decade. And then it was like, oh yeah, well, that's because this is the first album to drop in like 7 years. So how do you know Henry Canyons?
So funnily enough, when I was way too young to be in chat rooms, I was in a chat room called Cool Side of the Pillow. So when that tape came out, I was like, oh, hey, Cool Side of the Pillow. And I went and listened to it. And yeah, just complete coincidence. I got put on.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's dope. How about you? Familiar at all?
No, this is my first time. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's great. That's interesting. But yeah, I think I want to say that Cool Side of the Pillow came out on Backwoods.
Maybe. Yes.
But I find that we do a lot of Backwoods projects, and it makes sense. Prim and Shrapnel is on this, and they're Backwoods guys. And part of it is because Backwoods just happens to be like the dopest label doing anything right now, and another part of it is that a lot of those artists kind of come from the lineage and tradition of hip hop music that I like, and it makes sense that we gotta K the Eye and a Dose One album last year from them, or this year and last year from them. So incredible shout out to Backwoods, and it makes sense that Henry Canyons on there, judging by the level of his artistry, and Fresh Kils. But shout out to what is it, UrbNet? I'm not too familiar with them, but yeah, check them out. Links in the bio, I suppose. I'll figure that out, hopefully. But let's get right into the album. I want to give a disclaimer that while I've listened to this album several times, I've been in a shambles, and I didn't really make any notes about the album. I have a lot of things to say, but not necessarily any notes. I didn't clip any lyrics. I didn't take any bars out of it or anything like that. And I'm just gonna put it on the background right now to kind of refresh my memory and keep it funky like that. So who wants to go first?
I like the production on this album. The production is so tight and overall just cohesive. Every song just goes boom, boom, boom. Lines up
I was gonna say I think you'll really like the Occam's Blazer joint from a few years ago.
Yeah.
Because it's Fresh Kils and it's that more jazzy, soulful side that you see more in the second half of this tape. But at the same time, it's got like live drums on it. Like it's got live instrumentation. It's very soulful, very rich.
I'll check it out
production wise.
because I love this, bro.
Yeah,
And,
Fresh Kils is fucking ill.
Well, Fresh Kils is kills on this. No
Fresh,
pun.
Fresh Kils.
He's like it sounds like a little bit more towards your I guess in today's space, that conventional boom bap kind of drum sample, but it also is in that kind of modern space alongside some of the great newer producers who aren't just looping and throwing drums on things with like a bridge. There's a lot of kind of, I feel like musicality in his MPC production. A lot of musicality in MPC production.
I believe there's a lot of synth and synths and bass, like live instrumentation being played over it, which adds an extra texture and flavor to it. Which I really liked. I like the synths, especially in certain tracks like Wash. That had that synth melody, and then on like Move Back you had the synth as well as the trumpet in the back. I really like those little small things. I think that's just a producer in me now. Just like, when I listen to production, if there's like things going on behind that MC can enhance, it just really takes it to another level for me, instead of it just being like a loop like you're saying.
Right. And another great thing about the production on this album is how wide and varied it is. From you're really killing me with that, Des.
You're really shaking the table.
You're shaking the table, and it just is. It's making me crazy.
I have ADHD, guys.
Yeah, I feel you. What you need to do is just click this little button.
It's gonna be loud. I don't want to make the noise, so
Yeah, but one of the things that I really like about the album is that there's while it sounds very cohesive, a lot of the production uses similar techniques and it has a very strong cohesive feel. There's also like this wide range of different type of sounds on it in terms of just like the energy that's brought to the song and like the approach to it. Some of it is a little bit more kind of like solemn and low like this, and then other songs like Pulse Check featuring Shrapnel is like a whole different type of energy. The joint with Saul Brigham, who's dope. I remember his Marlowe projects were really good, and I hadn't really tapped into him for a while, but like all the energy on this album is it moves, it's fun, it's different, it
really
has a lot of different variety of feels.
Sequenced.
Yeah,
true.
Definitely, it starts on like a lower kind of
guitar,
more introspective pace, then it kind of picks up and it gets kind of funky and like a little bit like bouncy, is a bit more energy to it, and then it kind of gets a bit more like out there in the tail end of the record. It has like a nice ebb and flow to it.
I mean, being 8 tracks, just
super tight 8.
Ebb and flow just makes it
listen, you're in and
right
out.
around, right back. I literally ran it back twice in a row. That's how good it was.
And to talk more about like Henry Cannons, he's one of those MCs who's like he's not like a superhero MC. He's kind of like an everyman type of MC rapper, who's kind of talking about their experience. But there's also this kind of it's a really strong writing MC. Like he's really great at writing. Everything seems to land on time. There's wit. There's philosophy. There's changing turn of phrase, and you could see how like he's an artist that would be touring with like a Prim Rock back in the days. You could see why they're tight like that, because his pen is so interesting. There's points of the album that kind of, even the first song, Show and Tell, it almost has that old kind of like spoken word MC type of approach to it. But one of the things that I've found myself really enjoying about his writing is that there's, I say this sometimes just, half-assed, but like he's one of the MCs to me that doesn't sound like a drumming MC. He sounds like a horn player. The way that he flows and the way that he uses his voice, and it kind of like it's something about it sounds very like horn to me in his rhythmic approach. And there's styles on this, bro. Like he's not just like rapping conventional bars like you may get from the great bar rappers that are poetic, like a Sage Francis, for example. Sage is great at being poetic, being hella hip hop and also writing a kind of conventional bar style. But with Henry Canyons, there's also this intangible kind of like the way he counts, the way that his vocal inflections come up and where he lands and brings it back. It's really catchy.
I thought it was, you know, maybe I'm wrong about this. Feel free to correct me, but like this is like one of the most West Coast, East Coast rap albums I've ever heard. Like it's East Coast and West Coast at the same time to me. I've done some reading and like, you know, I found like, I guess
he's a New York rapper.
He's a New York rapper.
Yeah.
He's from Brooklyn,
I think. Born and raised.
He's like a French Jew, which I thought was kind of interesting. But like he, I guess he was based in LA for a while.
Oh, okay.
And there's like, you know, some like B-boy type shit on there as well. Like, you know, obviously the shrapnel feature also gives it that kind of b-boyish kind of vibe, and there's some scratchy
you can
kind of
tell he's like a hip-hop head. On one of the songs he talks about like his hand style wasn't dope enough, so he kept Lookout. That's hip-hop shit. That's four element shit. Yeah.
And like I got a bit of that kind of West Coast vibe to it, despite the fact that it is, you know, distinctly like a Brooklyn rap album. So like I thought that was, you know, maybe that's just my own like take on it, but
Sure.
I thought that was kind of the vibe I got from it. I was like, oh, it's like Westy East Coast hip hop.
What song gave you that feeling in specific?
Like From Here, and Pulse Check, like the Shrapnel joint. But like he put out an EP a long time ago. I believe this is his, called La Côte Ouest, just the West Coast.
Oh, okay.
In French.
Yeah.
Well, you be speaking you French and black and Jamaican, so
and
you
this,
got that.
This was like around the same time as Cool Side of the Pillow.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, you know, he's kind of Westy with it as well. Like it's got a bit of that kind of, you know, boulevard, like you know, LA kind of styling to it. Like there's a bit of a touch of that. So yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got from the record, that it was kind of Westy for an East Coast hip hop.
Okay.
Word up.
He's just dope at MCing, man.
Yeah, man. I was gonna say, like,
yeah, the rapping's real good.
I never thought about what you said with him being more like an everyman instead of like a superhero MC. I've actually never heard that terminology before. So.
Well, I just mean like,
Mega
you know,
hits that one a lot.
Bro,
I just mean
it.
like, you
I
know,
like
there's
it,
a lot of braggadocio people, and it comes in a lot of different ways. Like Westside Gunn is a superhero MC.
Yeah.
He's like a larger than life, super opulent, like above your experience,
almost like a
above
mythology.
the experience of like 99% of his fans. So when you identify with it, you're like, oh yeah, like, I if I sold drugs, I'd get away with it and profit. If I had money, I'd dress cool too. If you know, like, I'm also a god, like I'm also able to do that. And then you have those MCs who are like, you know, Action Bronson, like he's talking about doing amazing like backflips and shit, you know what I mean? But with Henry, it's very kind of grounded. It's very much just like, yo, like I'm dope and I'm not here just to tell you about myself. I'm also here to like bar out and say and talk about the world. And it's not so interpersonal for me that it's just like, I don't listen to it and be like, now I know Henry Canyons. You know, now I know him. I listen to it and be like, yeah, this fool is dope. He bombs, and he got things to say about different type of things, and there are also things that I could really identify with.
Exactly.
As just like a, you know, like it's easier for me to trace him onto like a lot of my thoughts because I'd be feeling the same way with the shit.
I felt that, man, because like you said, I didn't come away being like, yo, I know for Henry Canyons, but I came away from some of this, like the bars he was dropping, some of the gems, and being like, yo, I feel like I kind of came to understand myself a little bit better, you know?
Yeah.
Some of those bars were really dope, man. To give an example, like life is a relay, gotta pass the baton and keep the culture strong, you know? Paper cuts on the thighs from straddling two words. With great responsibility comes power in its own right. Like these sort of things where I'm like,
which right there, I mean, is Spider-Man.
Straight up.
Like,
that's why I fuck with it.
Street level superhero
That's
shit,
why I fuck
right?
with it. That's why I fuck with it, man. Yeah. The longer I walk, the more I realize there ain't no final boss. It's like just things, you know, you might just catch yourself thinking about, and then when you hear it on a track in a dope way, you just internalize it a little bit more, you know? And I really like that every man term you do.
I mean, it's funny because when I first listened to Show and Tell, it reminded me of the last Will Smith song, if that song was good.
Keep my wife's name.
Like, Will Smith put out a really, really bad track the other day where it's like he's talking about I want this.
Talking about what?
It just popped up on my feed on like
Talking
Instagram
about
or whatever.
what?
He's just like, I want this, give me this, I want this, I want the love, I want the passion, I want the intimacy. And Show and Tell does a similar thing where you have this kind of like this like dialogue between MC and listener where it's like, this is what I want from life and this is how it applies to the broader social context of the world I live in. But like, whereas Will Smith is Lex Luthor in this street hero analogy, right? Like, I don't believe it from one of the richest celebrities on the planet. Whereas from Henry Canyon's, I'm like, yo, this is fucking ill. Like, this is, some real, like, I can read into this as deeply as I want type shit. Like, I can read this on, like, a very basic level where it's just like, he wants a roof over his head and a girl to treat him right. Yeah. Or, like, this is like a, we could all have this type, more kind of socially open premise to the track.
I see.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, I think one of the first bars on it is he's just like, cats believe in flat earth.
I want the world to prosper. I want to earn my honor. I want a son and daughter. I want a piece of challah. I want that.
I want to arm my. What does he say? I want to arm my armor.
Something like that. Yeah.
I want that to win war. Make it flex. Live in flux.
I thought that the album was going to be kind of like this dude who was rapping like hella slow, and I was like, what is like? It's a little bit different than like the other songs that I loved from him on Cool Side of the Pillow. But like this is one of the only songs that's really like that, and it sets a different tone for the album because it's like, okay, let me just chill and listen for a little bit, and then he's like, gotcha, and
track two comes along and you get that,
kind of reminds me of the Eli Alloway we did a while ago. The Halo Boy jump, which also opens at like a slower track, and incidentally my least favorite track on the record. Same with this one, as a matter of fact. But like, it's very much like the statement behind the record, right? It's kind of the Rosetta Stone to the rest of the record. It kind of sets the scene. It lets you know, where Henry Canyons is at. As an MC and just as a person, and then it helps you kind of come to terms with the rest of the record as it comes.
No doubt. Yo, am I glad?
So cool.
That's a G. That's like an unassailable legend to me, man. I love it. And of course, Shrapnel Kills. We got the new Prim that's dropping next month, and I think Ro was on a joint. He was like, "Yo, I just heard
Sonic Club Ro. Rap Music Club Pop.
Yeah.
Not Ro.
Not our Ro. Not the cousin. Yeah.
Multiple times mentioned. Yeah.
But Ro was like, "Yo, I just heard the like album of the year." Ooh. And I was like, that's got to be the Prim. It drops next month, right? But like on the joint plus Pulse Check, that shit is so hard. Fucking Prim kills, Henry kills, fucking Castro kills. Castro has a line about like a logic and like diabolical fun, and he's always hitting me with that like historical. I told you guys he's like a wild fucking historian type of with it.
Hip hop historian.
But it's not like telling you history, but just like working all of these things into a frame of reference for you on a kind of almost braggadocio or insightful way about himself. And it's just like always pulling back. He's such a b-boy sapien, like a super, like he more hip hop than he is probably anything else. You know what I mean? And I love that. And this album does have a few bangers on it, and I think it also has like a really dope energy coming into spring. And I think I'm gonna have this one on. Playing this one quite a bit. At least a few of them. If I get my ass together and put my fucking Serato on my computer, I'm gonna start DJing again, and I'm looking forward to playing shit like this. You know what I mean? So, Fresh Kils, Henry Canyon kills. I'm glad to see him back. I'm glad that he came back, and it's not diminished at all. Like sometimes it's like, oh yeah, it's time to hear like, not to shit on nobody. I'm just throwing a name out like, oh, it's like Festo D's back, and then you listen to Festo's like, it doesn't capture that same essence. But for me, Henry Canyons, and I love Festo. I just said a name. I'm not really referencing him at all. I'm just saying like it's good to have him just right back and bombing. And I'm surprised, 7 years. It's like he probably could have had a lot more success during that time, but I guess he had to grow, or I have no idea what he was doing. I have no idea what life was doing. It's COVID, it's everything. So, but it's good to see him back. I'm looking forward to more,
Real.
and I want to hear more Fresh Kils shit too.
What's your favorite tracks?
My favorite tracks is going to be Pulse Check. I absolutely love. I like Art and Leisure with Mike Ladd, and I like Been Around the World, and probably the joint with Solomon.
He's doing the thing
Solomon.
again.
Yeah, all of it.
Favorite track, and he just says the whole album.
All right, if I could, okay, Pulse Check, Arts and Leisure, and yeah, 2. I'll give you 2.
All right.
Two?
What you got?
Been Around the World, Wash, yeah,
Yeah,
Art and Leisure.
I'll
cool.
go with From Here, Arts and Leisure.
Yeah, super fire, super wonderful, good album. Shout out again to BARUN for fucking always holding us down.
Shout out BARUN, man.
And
Shout out.
always rocking for the culture. He's one person that you guaranteed, like, he is supporting artists in a really radical way. I think the only thing that he really buys is like music, bro. Like every time he's like New Music Friday,
Music and like
Yeah.
nice gear.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he hit me up and he was just like, "Yo, if I buy these headphones, will you hold?" Like there was some headphones on Yahoo auction. He's like, "Yo, if I buy these, will you store them in your apartment until my friend comes to Japan?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course, like no problem." He sends me the Yahoo auctions link, the $10,000 headphones. I'm like,
Sheesh.
you really want to just send a stranger some really nice headphones?
you ain't a stranger, though.
Nah,
He
no,
knows
of
you can
course
be
not.
trusted,
That's
but
all,
yeah.
that's all love, but like,
still,
that's, you know,
I
guess
$10,000, bro. You just quit Secret House.
gone, bro.
Yeah,
Next
leave
time
it.
you see, I'm just like, wearing the nicest fucking headphones
Yeah.
you've ever seen.
Yo, but you had like a gas leak, man. Your whole house could have burnt down. Low-key.
with headphones.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true, right?
We had a gas leak in my apartment the other day. So like, if I just randomly fucking die, like I don't know, pretty big pile of ash where my building was, with just a nice box atop of the pile, just a pair of very fancy.
Bro.
It's like a fucking
boutique
Elden
bespoke
Ring
headphones.
You know, that wouldn't be
stuck to
covered
my
on
corpse.
That wouldn't be covered by your renter's insurance either. You
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
you have to put that on there.
really?
No, that's $10,000. Like,
Oh, the headphones. I thought you
Yeah,
were talking
if-
about the. Okay, never.
oh no, like if his house burns down, they're like,
I
yeah,
thought-
I mean, like. We got some skull candy joints for you or some Beats by Dre, but nah, like usually with electronics, at least in the States, there's like a $2,000 cap on
it's
on
like
some
that,
of
yeah.
some of your electronic stuff, unless you pay for more or whatever. But out here, it's a little bit different. But yeah, those I wouldn't want to hold $10,000 headphones for anybody, anyways. That's
be
like
paranoid, bro.
too much responsibility, bro. Like, what
man.
happens if my roof leaks on them or some shit? You know what I mean?
Hey, bro.
So, but
With
yeah, but shout out to
responsibility
BARUN
comes
because
power in its own right.
shit is good.
Word to Henry.
Yeah, word to Henry, man. Shout out to Henry Canyon. Shout out to Fresh Kils. Incredible underground hip hop art shit. Don't ever let anybody tell you that hip hop is in a bad place, man. Just because they don't know how to, just because they only grew up listening to the radio or some shit, and they still want everybody to rap like motherfucking Boot Camp Click or something like that. Shit's really incredible right now. I feel like we're in a renaissance. In fact, we so backed up on albums right now that we're going to do something new right after this.
Yeah.
Stay
Like,
tuned.
comment, subscribe. Let me hold $10,000.
Man,
Why don't you comment how much you let Jet hold?
I don't care about the likes or any of that. Don't even share Secret House. I don't care. But join the Patreon. Put $1 in the pocket.
Join
I'm
the
with that
Discord.
now.
Come say what's up.
Yeah, the Discord is fire. It's been wonderful lately. We have got like 90 people in there now. Usually good conversations. We're also doing some book reads and stuff in there. None of y'all is part of the book read, huh?
No,
Bro,
I can't read.
I'm not on Discord like that.
I told you Jet is dyslexic. He only read video screens, video game screens and shit.
Bro, it's a dyslexic.
Yeah,
It's
it's a different form of dyslexic.
Literature major, by the way.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I am literally editing a novel right
yeah.
now. That is my
crazy.
job right
Nah,
now. I am
nah.
a fucking editor.
All I know that
Dyslexic
he
editor.
reads, this is work we talking about. All I know he reads is like video games.
Genshin,
Like,
he
he
doing
knows
them
all that shit. He's
Genshins
like,
and them
yeah.
Honkais.
He knows everything about
All
video
those
games,
Chinese
bro.
gacha games. He got it.
He's
He
a
got the lore
fucking
on.
genius with that shit. Encyclopedic knowledge about fucking video games,
Music.
Japanese music,
And Chinese
in the
gacha.
intersection therein. Yeah, in Chinese gacha.
Yeah. Yeah, bro.
Shouts
gotta
out,
tap into that bag.
Whenever you
shouts
see
out
him on
to my
Discord-
girl Yelan, I guess.
Bro, whenever this guy he's on Discord, you see like Honkai, Genshin, fucking Zenless Zone Zero. Those are all Chinese gacha games, bro. He
Oh,
locked
shit.
in. He a victim.
I don't talk about that shit on the Discord. Like that's my own business.
He a victim.
He said we outing him right now.
Album's good. Album's real good.
Album's
Thank
great.
you for
Album's
watching.
great. Sorry,
Yeah,
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 my
power.
bad. Yeah.